We're good, I think.
Right, it's working.
All right, no. Hold on.
It is working. We're live.
Oh, it is. Okay. No, I was just thinking about
Welcome, everybody, to a trip back down memory lane. Welcome to the Tat Chat.
There
And
you go.
Tuesday, and it's a Tuesday.
It is. Isn't this weird?
I think we did these on Tuesday originally, or was it Thursday originally?
We did do, I think, back in the day, I think we did them on Tuesday. And then when I moved up here, that clashed with an auction. Or was it Thursday and it clashed? I can't remember. It was an auction. And then so we changed the day.
I'm too old to remember details like that.
Yeah, I remember it was that was why. But yeah.
How are you? Let's pretend I've not spoken to you for like years. What have you been up to?
Yeah, hi everybody. Just the usual, really. The usual. But a lot's changed recently, obviously, like with what everyone's going through, in the past year. So a lot's it's been on. It almost feels like we've been in some kind of limbo, doesn't it? I mean,
kind of have. In a weird way, it's been very odd. But yeah, we are live. If you're joining us live, actually, many people may kind of post us doing Tat Chat because the channel's gone crazy since we used to do that.
Yeah.
So let's actually do an introduction. This is Zaheer. Do you want to tell us about Zaheer?
Hi everybody, my name is Zaheer. I have a YouTube channel called Zaheer Malik as well. Very imaginative, where we're like basically me and Beck talk about. We have like a weekly chat where we talk about what we're doing that week, and we resell because of Nick. so that's pretty much. It was Nick's fault.
Yeah, that old chestnut.
It was though, isn't it? I mean, it's true. That's the thing.
I had a hand in it somewhere along the line. You can't blame me for it.
Well, no, not completely blame you, but
Let me. I'm just trying to get back to the beginning. There we go. I think Pete was first in. Hi, Pete. Yeah. Good to see you. Big supporter of the channel. Now, Pete goes back to the Tat Chat days. Oh yeah, there we go. You can't beat Tat Chats on Google Hangouts. Yeah.
Yeah, back in the day, Google
Hangouts. Fancy
do I remember rightly that we used to get the odd viewers that used to think it was about tattoos and then they'd quickly leave? Am I right in thinking that, or was that?
Well,
that was definitely with the Facebook page, wasn't it?
We did start a Facebook group, and people used to come in and share pictures of tattoos.
Oh, that's great.
That short-lived Facebook group. Yeah. Well, I say short-lived. It was like a year or so.
Yeah, enough.
It was enough. Niall, welcome. Oh, I see another old schooler. Hi, Pete.
Oh, wow. Hi, guys.
Yeah, Pete wants to know something.
How to be a reseller. Well, you're in the wrong chat.
I said no.
No.
He was waiting for you to come on, you see, with all your secret knowledge.
Oh, yeah, definitely, yeah. It's all in there somewhere. I think, to be honest with you, I suppose we should kind of try to frame this, but if anything, I suppose like this is a catch up. Obviously, we haven't spoken like on the live stream for quite a while. We haven't done one of these chats for a while, and I suppose the one thing that that's always good to talk about is how you change what you do. Really, I think that's the number one thing, isn't it? Like if you are going to talk like reselling and stuff, it's like knowing that reselling really can mean so many different things, like back when you had your shop and like we're doing our shop, that's still reselling technically, isn't it? You get from like a wholesale source and then you resell it. That's still reselling. It's just, but it means so many different things and you have to learn so many different ways of doing it and you've got to have so many different hats. Like at the moment it feels all new again and all kind of fresh again because we're so inexperienced at what we're trying to do. We've still got the comfort of when car boots start back up and charity shops start back up, I will be able to indulge in my comfort zone as to like, because that's kind of what I cut my teeth on, I guess.
I think what's fascinating, particularly seeing your kind of about turn and go to retail, and that is, no matter how much we all think we know where we're going or what we're planning to do, or we might even have a 5-year plan, God forbid, it never pans out. I mean, it's been fascinating watching you guys and how you're getting on with going into retail and making that decision. Likewise, I follow Mel closely down in Australia.
Yeah.
Who's now gone into
She's
books
like
massive way.
in a
You
big
never saw
way.
that?
Yeah.
No,
No one saw that. No.
and she's knocking it out of the park doing books and nothing but books. And she'd be the first to say that wasn't the plan.
I didn't see that happening though. You just never know where it's going to take you. You genuinely don't know. And the thing is, as long as you're open to it, and I think you've got to be kind of fluid in your thinking, and you really do have to be open to different situations. Otherwise, there is that risk that you might become stagnant. Like, for example, one thing I will say to everybody is we're all really looking forward to car boots coming back and like charity shops coming back. But I think it's really important to remember they're going to come back, but they're not going to come back as in they're going to come back like they were before. There's going to be, maybe at first we won't notice what the differences are, but there are going to be differences. I think, again, it's going to be about adapting to that. They're not going to come back the same, are they?
I don't know. I'm trying to think.
That doesn't mean there's not going to be any stuff there. It just means that, like, it's going to be different, as in that how you're going to have to approach it is going to be different. Like the tactics that, for example, my tactics when I used to go to a car boot back in the day was the old, get there before everybody else, first through the gate and rush around, right? That tactic may have worked before, but maybe it's not as successful now, because maybe during the lockdown, some people have become a little bit more internet savvy. And now you've got to move some of that sourcing nous of yours. And rather than just working hard, you've got to work a bit smarter and maybe look for that stuff listed elsewhere on all the different.
I think the one thing, if I could predict anything, is that I think there are now a lot more resellers than there were a year ago. We've seen it with the channel. So many new people searching how to make money online because they either need the cash or they're stuck at home and are looking into having a clear out, right? And I think so many people, eBay told us on the phone when we had that recent chat with them, that they've seen unprecedented growth on the platform. Like, it's been crazy for them. So that gives you an indication that a lot of people are dipping their toe in. So boot sales might be a wholly different place with buyers. I think the sellers will still be there with the same stuff, but
and like, how will the sellers approach it? I mean, I think the stuff is now, the stock, as it were, it's got, like, every stock, I think I tried to look at it like it's got a journey to marketplace, as it were. Like its journey to ending up for sale on eBay is now very different. There's a lot more opportunities for that stuff to not make it to the car boot. I'd say there's a lot more opportunities for it to end up. I've seen a lot of people talking, for example, clothes buyers talking about Vinted a lot more in terms of when they're looking to source to flip on eBay. And not just that, but like, I think recently in one of Craigslist Hunter's videos, he actually made a point which was interesting, where he reckons, obviously, because of, you're right, there's a lot of people that have come into this, but because of things like eBay managing payments and suddenly requiring that much more information from the sellers, and obviously, as like you guys found out, it can be an obstacle. Now, you guys obviously are going to persevere with it because it's your income. Like, if eBay expects something from me, it's my income. But if you're like a casual seller, and this is what Pete's point was, and if suddenly they start asking for your national insurance numbers or specific IDs, how many people are going to go, screw this, I'm just going to flog this on my local Facebook page?
You're right. I think as soon as you mention the word tax or national insurance number, people think, the government's going to find out. Not that you shouldn't, as a private seller, sell stuff. But there's a grey line, obviously, if you're going out to buy it to sell. But yeah, that is an interesting one, because at the same time, it's so much easier for people to cut out. We're a middleman, let's be honest. I'm a middleman. I go to the car boot, I buy something off somebody who wants to make some cash. I sell it to the end user, make that cut in the middle. It's now so much easier for that person to just stick it on Facebook, stick it on Spock,
with all the benefits of the cash in hand that they're used to at the car booths. But this is exactly what Pete was saying, though, was in his video, that he reckons that if we hold out now this coming year, we're probably going to notice on eBay it's going to become better for us. Like, he termed it as professional sellers or like full-time sellers. And I think there could be something to that. I know obviously he was talking more about the American market, but
maybe
I feel that there's going to be similarities, like with the obstacles, because they do require things. I mean, if you remember when you first sign up to a PayPal account, you don't just get full access to your money when you first sign up. Anyone that opens one of the big things that people hate about first starting to sell on eBay was, hold on, PayPal are holding my money for 2 weeks. I've just sold this and now I've got to ship it, but I've got no money because all my money is in my PayPal account and they're not going to let me have it until I've proven that the buyer's received it. And eBay are now going to take on those kinds of same, I think, rules, because at the end of the day, they do it for safety, don't they? And they do it to kind of for good reason, I think. But
it's been a very common question recently. Why can't I get my money? Why am I restricted on how much I can sell? How many items I can sell? Yeah,
different categories as well, don't they? Don't different categories have like different limits? When you first start, I'm pretty certain that I remember that, I think it was when my brother started years ago, and he stopped like a while back, but they started different categories. You could only list so much in different categories. So for example, high risk categories like mobile phones, if you're a brand new seller, eBay aren't going to just willy-nilly let you list like 100 grand worth of mobile phones on.
And this is another thing they alluded to in that chat, and I said that they've had to put things in place with the whole PS5 debacle and this price gouging, and with COVID and price gouging with medical supplies and stuff. It was like, there's so many obstacles. I think you're right, but it will be interesting to see how it pans out. I'm way behind in the chat. I didn't finish saying hi to people. Let me quickly do that. Queenie says she's ready to take it back to the old school, as in when we were at school. Okay, that's far too long ago to remember. Hi, Laura. Let's say a few more hellos before we crack on.
Yeah, definitely.
Hey, John. Good to see you. Thank you again so much. I've been playing REM. It's been fixed to my turntable. I'm in love with this. Well, always have been. It's one of my all-time favorite.
REM, awesome. And Brum Reseller, he's a legend, isn't he? The guy is hilarious. He's got such great like humor, and just his
great channel.
Just his way. It's very, very like addictive viewing. It's just the way he speaks as well. I love it. It's the whole thing there.
And it's like with what you guys have been doing, that kind of it is a story element. It's kind of the journey element of it, and people have seen you from the moment going, I'm going to have a market stall, I'm going to have a shop, and you get to actually see it coming to fruition. And with John, you can see setting up a shop all the way to opening the shop and all of that.
It's the excitement, isn't it? It's definitely.
Hi, Ian. Good to see you. I don't know who I've said hello to and not. Stu, what year is it? Yeah. I don't know when we actually started doing these. I remember
it's got to be 2017 or 16. It's got to be 2016, I think.
Well, it was after you came to visit here, and we went out to kind of have drinks and get to know each other. And you said, you need to do a regular chat. And I was like, okay.
That was pretty much how it went. Yeah. It's like, same time.
It was like, 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah, it's got to be. Yeah, it's quite a while back. It's just great to see, really, like how the community is just kind of grown so much as well. I think it's insane. Like,
I know we hark back to when there was like me, you, Joe Pennies, Caroline,
Joe the Abs Pennies. We have to call him now, really.
Joe the Abs, and Tom. That was kind of it. Wasn't it? There was about 5 of us to start with, and then it just went over the last 2 years. It's gone crazy, proper crazy. Hi, Antique Curios. He's got his shreddies ready.
Wow,
why not?
Good choice.
Hey. Let's try and get down. Lots of people saying hello. Hi, Kirsten. Good to see you. The Dave's in. Yeah, we're going old school. Hi, Becca Fiduke.
Yeah.
Aaron. Oh, I don't know. Soul Steps, Joanne. Right, we'll be here all day. I'm going to whiz down to the end. If I see a question, I'll try and read it out. It's going to jump any minute. Hey, Rod's in.
Hey, Rod.
Who is the young chap? There you go.
Very
We're both
young.
quite clean shaven. I don't know what.
I know. Do you know what? I'm trying to make myself feel better, I think. So it's like, I don't know if that helps, but sometimes you have to. I think it's one of the downsides as well as an upside of working for yourself, isn't it? Especially when you're working from home. I think it's like really, it's so easy to just slip into like full on comfortable casual mode. Like if I had my way, I would never shave. You know, the only reason I shave is because it gets itchy. You know, like that's when I shave, and it's not to. But I think there's something to be said about like having a bit of discipline.
Yeah, and I'm not the person to talk to about that. It's weird. I'm not. We've discussed this many times, haven't we? But I'm not very good at getting going. Once I get into the flow, I just work, right? And once I'm in it, I'm in it for like a 12-hour stretch or whatever. You know what I mean? But I'm terrible at being disciplined at getting going.
I think it's just but at least you're able to kind of, once you do get going, you do put like the work in. I think for me the structure is important because I'm so like I don't think I'd ever get going. Like I think I noticed that my getting going was even if I did get going, I wouldn't then do like the 12-hour full on shift of tons and tons of listing, etc. So I just have an unproductive day. So I found that like especially just having some kind of structure for me is really important. I've started writing, like I've just realized I think I'm just still, a lot of me still are very much stuck in like the sheep way. I think I'm naturally a bit of a sheep, and I need to have a little bit of guidance. And that's nothing to. It's not a negative. It's not a negative. It's just something you learn about yourself. And I think over time you really do learn about yourself in so many ways when you're like. Yeah. When you're trying to run a business, you're like, I keep on saying this, but you're so much more than one person. I mean, you're like, at first you're going to be the accountant, you're going to be the product researcher, you're going to be the product like sourcer, you're going to be logistics, you're going to be literally, if you think about how many things you do, you're going to be the marketer, you're going to do like
all of the hats, and you have to learn a little bit about every aspect of running a business when you start out, at least. I mean, if you grow big enough, you can employ people, I guess is the dream, not necessarily for us right now, but
at first
you can pass the hat on. But yeah, you're right. You juggle all of those jobs at the same time.
And I think that's one thing that not necessarily it's not immediately apparent to everybody. I mean, some people are just going to be like super fast learners, and they're going to see what they're taking on up front. Whereas like there's going to be other people like myself who dive head first into something and then go look around and go, right, now what do I do first? And it takes a bit of time to figure out. But the hats analogy, as tired as it is so incredible. Like even now, like I'm learning so much. I feel like Neo in the Matrix. I really do. Like you just like I didn't even know this was a thing, but because I've got my website sorted out, I can now have an instant ready-made Facebook shop and an Instagram shop. So I just list on my website, and it's going to show my shop on my Facebook page, and it's going to show it on my Instagram profile. I didn't know, but this is probably someone sitting there going, well, but it's all new to me, and I think that's the.
And yeah, you have to learn all of that. That's a whole new game that I know nothing about, really.
Mind-boggling. It's mind-boggling.
To quickly go back to, I mean, I was saying when I get into work, I kind of get head down and go. But that's not to say I don't have days where I just drift.
Yeah.
If I don't get started and get kind of going, I can lose a whole day to social media and TV. And that has been a constant problem. And it's worse now I work 100% from home. The TV's just through there, and the kitchen's just through there. It's like it's
so easy.
I was going to ask because obviously my background is retail.
Yeah.
When we had our gaming shop, that was like a 8-9 year stretch, if you like. Not trying to related to prison, but yeah, in some ways. But do you find now I know you've had hardly any time actually with the shop open, unfortunately, but that regiments you to an extent because you've got a time on that door. So you've got to be there at 9 or 10, whatever you choose, and you're there till 5. So
it's given me
that helpful because I did.
It's given me what I need, because it definitely is. It's 100%. I think it's something that my personality needs. Because it's not, it's not. It's obviously some people will look at it and be like, for example, like you mentioned, it is you're expected to be there, aren't you? And if you're actually going to try to grow and become like a household name in your local area, you can't just open when you fancy and stuff. You're going to have to be there. But I think for me, in a work perspective, it's really useful because it motivates me to have that. It gives me that structure that I was talking about. You get up, and not just that, I'm going to have to make somewhat of an effort with just my appearance and stuff, so I don't scare people. There is that.
It does help, and having that face to face does do all those things. We were never that good at timekeeping with opening the shop, but we had that pressure to be up, be washed, ready, and dressed, and down there, in town for that time. Because if somebody is relying on me, or if I've got that printed time on the door, I do feel that pressure.
Obligation is there.
Home, there's no pressure for me to start at 9, so I don't. I'm still in bed.
100%. 100%.
Just quickly, David's put a question in. Have you been following the Amazon VTR 95% requirement? At the moment, I'm not doing Amazon. I've stepped back. I keep meaning to do a video explaining that. So no, I've not been keeping up with it. Royal Mail 48 might not be eligible. That's no fun. Okay.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, it's not something I've really gone in for.
Kev says, until last week, I could only list 30 items a month until you can prove that you're a good seller. Yeah.
Wow.
Which I can see being frustrating, but from their side, they don't want any old Tom, Dick and Harry turning up, selling a load of laptops he doesn't have and trying to do a runner with the money. So that's what it's there for.
But can I just say that's also a really great example of how things have changed. So when I started back in, 2014 or 2015, you could just quit your job and start listing like a madman, and you could list pretty much what you wanted, and etc. I still remember there were the early restrictions on your PayPal account in terms of how much money you could take until you obviously sorted out all your tax info, etc. But it was a lot freer. And now, for example, if someone did, unfortunately lose their job or etc. and thought, okay, I'm going to turn my head to eBay, that would be quite a nasty shock and I'm talking about a sudden kind of, your first experience. It'd be kind of a nasty shock to realize that you can only list 30 items in a calendar month, because suddenly you're it makes it not a viable income unless you're selling really high value items, which technically you won't be able to, because the chances are there'll be limits, like I mentioned, in those categories.
Financial limit anyway, I think, what you can turn over in a month as well as list. Yeah. And I mean, we've said this many times, people thinking about eBay and their goal to go full time is do this part time and build it up. And I think that's a necessity now anyway, because you'd have to, exactly what you were saying, to have an account where you could earn a living, you'd have to build that up perhaps in the background for 6 months at least to be able to.
But the beauty as well is, again, another change since when I started back in 2015, the Facebook marketplace wasn't in existence. The fact that they've now implemented an actual shop, assuming like I said, you do have to have your own website, but it's never been easier now. It's easier now to have a ready-made online e-commerce shop set up. You've got shop features on Facebook and Instagram. Yeah. There's been a massive shift in how people perceive those platforms. The amount of people that I see successfully selling on Instagram, on Facebook, that's something I'm really I'm kind of aiming for as well now. I'm looking to grow that, because I think that's insane. I follow this Oh no, Karen, sorry. You
No, I
know
was
me.
just going to say, I mean, with light to our recent hassles, it feels like eBay is kind of going the opposite way to where they should be. When all of this potential competition and options are springing up and becoming more and more viable, eBay seem to be shooting themselves in the foot every other day with some other crazy thing going on. So
It's I think it's just the curse of when you get that big. I think in a way, I think they're going to have so many more eyes on their business. They have to have regulation. They have to automate. Whereas, I think places like Facebook and Instagram, at the moment it's easier, but make no doubt about it. In a couple of years' time, it will change where you'll find,
and
the same.
And the reason why is once people the scammers already will be looking to Facebook and going, here's an easy option. And it's already happening. Chris put out a video the other day. I don't know if you saw. He was through Facebook, and you can see.
And that was a horrible thing, because that was a very opportunist. Because it's not like that guy was a serial kind of scammer, from what you could tell. It was a very strange one, because other people had purchased successfully, but it was almost like an opportunist thing he did to Chris, which is really kind of.
Oh right. Because I've got it in my to watch list. I've only chatted to him. I've not even seen it. So interesting. Okay. Let me quickly dip in the chat. I'm aware I'm so far behind. Yes, I do remember being on TV. It was a tiny little slot. That was with Ken, and that was Caroline as well. Ken and Caroline.
That was some car boot challenge or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a bit of a farce, to be honest.
It really was. TV, isn't it? It's.
Hi Sue, good to see you in.
Hey Sue.
Clean shaven with homebrew haircuts. Nothing wrong with a bit of that.
Yeah, it's the only way at the
moment. I always get fully dressed and ready, even if I don't go anywhere, says George.
I think that's smart. I think George is smart like that, though. I think it makes you feel good, doesn't it? And there's something about it, definitely.
Yeah. I slip into bad habits really easily. I find having employees around, I'm more productive because I don't want to be seen slacking to them. There is an element of that. When we had employees in retail, if you sit around and look at your phone or whatever, you instantly feel them looking at you and thinking, if it's okay for me to do it, it's kind of saying it's okay for them. So you don't. So there is an element of that for sure. Yeah,
100%.
An example.
And plus, you don't want to look like that to potential customers, because you kind of almost. We were always told. I remember, like, customers are more likely to approach a busy person than they are to approach someone that's just stood there staring.
I found the hardest thing with having employees was handing over that responsibility rather than not just doing it myself. Because
I imagine, I can't imagine.
So tough. If you've got any level of control freak in you, that was the hardest lesson. I never really learned it.
I don't think I want to even try that. I think at the moment that's where I'm drawing lines. Like at the moment in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, me and Beck, and then when the kids are a bit, when we could get the kids roped in, and that'll be they can give us our weekend off or something when they're comfortable.
That would be fantastic. Honestly, I mean, great for their confidence and work experience as well, and you'll have that instant trust in them. The other big one is trusting an employee. Oh, it's so tough.
I know your story about that. That's painful.
Yeah,
that's painful. No.
Hi, Kelly. It seems strange you saying that, Nick. I imagine you basically living in the Tat Cave, just coming out for food and sleep. Andrea would agree with you in parts, I think. Yeah. You have to be the broomer.
You do have to be the broomer too. Yeah, you have to do the brooming.
Oh, in retail, you have to be prepared to clean up sick off the floor.
Yep.
To spray around when the super stinkers come in.
Yep.
Have you had any of them yet in your brief time open?
No, but there was definitely like a little dog mess that was traipsed.
Yes,
I had that.
People will come in with dog crap all over their shoes and walk everywhere in your shop. And the other big bugbear for me, more so in what we had, because we had hundreds and hundreds of CDs, games, everything, all racked in order. Customers, no. Customers will pick something up, wander around with it, and go, nah, don't want it. Put it back anywhere. So then another customer come in and say, "Have you got Call of Duty, whatever?" Yes, of course.
Oh yeah, it should be. Yeah.
I'll mark out and go, I put it out there 5 minutes ago. It's gone, vanished.
You find it in the R's or something.
Yeah. Hi, Veranda Files. Glad to see you. It's okay to be a sheep if you have a good shepherd.
Yeah, I think in a way that your structure is your shepherd, I suppose. You know.
Okay. I'm trying to scroll down.
Oh, Yorkshire Trader says, question, which hat do you enjoy wearing the most? That's a good question. Like, what would you say out of all the things that you have to do? Like, I know you've mentioned that in the past, you've mentioned that you enjoy packaging. Would you say that's like your favorite thing, or do you think sourcing? Or
oh yeah, well, sourcing I think is an obvious one, because that is fun, but fulfilling orders is satisfying. I was making a vlog today, and I think I said in today's vlog, it's just it still is satisfying all these years later to fulfill an order and ship something out to its new owner. It just still gives me that pang of joy. So
I think for me, like my current hat thing, I suppose that I'm enjoying is learning the marketing side of stuff, because it's something I've never had to do, because eBay takes care of it for you, which is lovely. But like actually realizing how tough it is to actually grow a brand and to grow, like to become apparent, because I've seen so many brilliant examples of shops that have been more established and have got insane groups. Like there's a shop in Leicester called the Leicester Vintage Toy Shop, and the guy there, he's been doing vintage retro toys for years, and it's so cool. He's such a lovely guy, and he does YouTube a little bit as well. He's got a YouTube channel as well. But what's amazing about him is like, he's over lockdown, they decided to start a Facebook selling group so they could sell. And he's got such an amazing customer base. Literally, he can post something and people will be spamming claim instantly. Like he doesn't have to sell it. It's like, but he's done the work. It's insane. What he's built is insane. He's got a loyal section of customers that know the kind of things that he sources, but also conversely, he knows what his customers want. You know, he's out there hunting, sourcing stock, getting this really amazing retro box toys. I mean, you should check it out. You'd actually enjoy it, because he had he got some, like, you know, he started to grade the figures and things as well. Like they found apparently recently, I think it was in like Peru or something, a whole stock of old Mask boxed new factory toys were found, like from the old Mask TV show. And so they've been like, they managed to get hold of some of those as well, and it's pretty crazy.
I mean, that is a perfect example of using social media in a positive way in your business. I mean, I can just see how that would work, and especially if you're niched down like you are, for example, you can see how powerful that is to get inspired by someone who's already doing it 100%. Successfully.
Yeah, I follow I follow quite a lot of shops like that, and it's literally, he will post a product up onto his group, and it's not whether it will sell, it's the fight is between the customers as to who's going to be quick enough to spot it and claim it. And there's, you know, he's built that business, and it's just amazing. It's absolutely amazing.
Yeah. And that's what it comes down to, isn't it? Building that customer base of people who, you know, what they want, and you supply what they want.
I mean, he's put the time in. I mean, I think he's in there for 10, 20 years, probably, I'm guessing. Something like that. I think at least he's been there. So I know that that's not going to happen, you know, like that. But it's exciting, and it's definitely something to aim for.
Exactly. I mean, we had an element, we didn't really harness social media. Social media was coming into its own when our shop was kind of winding down, and we moved out of
back in the day.
But we had that on a local basis. Stuff would come in, and I'd just go, "That's for Derek." You know, he'll be in on Saturday, and I'll go, "Oh, you know, you're still collecting GameCube? Here you go, 20 quid, thank you." And I would know that many people that well. There'd be a load of stuff that I would just know would sell when they came in, and you kind of build up that clientele. and they know that you save stuff for them, so they make a point of coming in every week, and it's
and that's another great example of how the goalposts have shifted. Basically, I suppose the main thing that's just become so apparent, obviously, with the last year is expect the unexpected. I mean, if you don't learn that now, then you won't. But also, don't think it's just going to be the same. It really won't. I don't think it'll be the same. It might be nuanced, but it will be different. There may well be. It may initially seem the same. Like when you go to that first car boot in April, and I'm so just the experience of the morning grass making your feet soaking wet, and like I love all that stuff. I'm just thinking about it, and I'm excited. But even though initially it might look the same, put it this way: if I said to you, Nick, are car boots now the same they were 5 years ago? In terms of what you found, because you said it yourself, I've heard you say it. Like, you used to find people were desperate to try to get rid of GameCubes and things. And
well, what changes is I'm not sure it's so much the boot sales. Obviously, different stuff is not available anymore because the market's moved on, but the market at large moves on. So you have to change how you're looking around the boot sale. Because if I was sourcing the same stuff I was back then, I'd be missing the point as well.
Yeah.
Everything moves on, and adaptability really is key.
Like house clearance guys, for example, traders used to be almost seen as a waste of a stall previously. Like my initial impression was, when I first got into it, I could be wrong, but my initial impression always was, look for the nice cars, look for the families who are trying to get rid of their nice stuff.
I still do. Yeah. I think I miss a trick sometimes. Not going to and making those relationships and stuff. But
But I've noticed over the years, like the traders had become a bigger and more consistent part of my car booting, because I was finding consistently like good things from them, whereas previously it wasn't. So there's so many little things, and like I said, it can be nuanced, but
Marcella says, with spouses, do you stay self-motivated, or do your spouses have to keep you on task? Do you want to answer that one first?
I definitely would be rubbish if it wasn't for Beck. I'll just say that. I think I'd be like all over the place. Like, she's definitely a calming, and she's like the calming influence and the logic. So if I come up with some crazy idea, it doesn't mean she doesn't stop. She doesn't stop me from necessarily taking the crazy idea, but it's like more considered, because she'll look at it in a more analytical or numbers way. So for example, recently, like, we've been talking a lot about when do we think it's going to be a thing where the shop will be feeding itself enough to still be able to grow, but to also still have her on board, like, and whether that's integrating obviously like another eBay store, and you think of all these things, and I'm just like, just do it, we'll make it work. And she'll be like, no, hold on, I want to come away, definitely, but let's think about it. And
I think Andrea's always been an influence to in many ways reining me in.
Hi. All right, hey honey.
We're talking about you, actually.
We're talking about you, Nick.
Perfect timing.
She just got back in from work. So.
Oh, cool. But I think Andrew's been very good at actually pointing out when I'm doing too much, that side of it, which is helpful, because burnout is a thing, and it's happened to me before, and it will happen again. And so I think that's one side of it I need 100%. is that level of control, not doing too much, not taking on too much, which is another thing I tend to do.
I think it helps that your like overall aims in terms of things are like the same, as long as your day-to-day actions are obviously going to be different because you're different people, but as long as like your overall kind of like your longer term strategy aligns, then the day-to-day stuff can always be adjusted, can't it? I think so. For example, like as long as you know, I mean, you've been saying you need to slow down since I've known you, really. So it's not happened yet, but
it has. Subtly. I don't work anywhere near as much as I used to.
Yeah.
But I still probably, do more than I need to. It's a weird one, but yeah. I don't know. It's an ever-changing feast, really, and I will never get the work-life balance right because I'm not that focused on it. You know what I mean? I enjoy what I do, so I don't see it as work.
It almost melts a little bit, but that can be risky. But but that's, I suppose, where Andrew comes in as well and can say to you, look, come and chill out, or
Yeah, are you coming in tonight? Yeah. Neil, hi Neil, good to see you, mate. Z, are Instagram shops a thing now, and are there fees?
Well, this is the thing. Instagram and Facebook, there are things now where if you go onto certain people's profiles, you'll see that they've got a shop. It's more like an enabling thing. It's where they pull. So, for example, you say you've got all your products on your website. Once your account is approved for a shop, as it were, they will just pull all your listings from your website and display them within Instagram with an option for someone to shop your store. And then when you click on something, it'll either give you an option to direct message someone on Instagram, like direct message the shop owner, or it can take you to the shop itself, like to the website itself. So it's more, as far as I know, there's no fees involved. It's all about just it's a sales channel. And that's how they describe it. And I think that's what makes it so powerful. So it's basically like double listing. So I'm at the moment, which is really cool, I can list on my website, and that will mean it will list on eBay for me. It will list on the listing will appear on my Facebook page. And eventually, because they've not approved me on Instagram, they've got to go through whatever, and then it'll appear on Instagram as well. So they're not processing payments or anything here. However, they're doing it in the United States for Facebook, at least.
That's Facebook. So I didn't know that. So you need
a website
outside of Instagram, and then they essentially integrate
literally. So if you were to so it just shows the same listing that you've got on your website, and it will give you a small amount of kind of jiggery pokery, so you can arrange the store and make it look a bit however you want. But it's more of just another sales channel.
Maybe a silly question, but does that mean you have to have your website hosting a certain way or with a certain person to make that work?
They've got quite a lot of integration. So even if you use a Shopify shop, or if you use a WordPress shop or whatever, there's all these different ways of doing it. It's more the fact that you've got to have a website, basically. I think that's the core of it is if you have your own website and you list your products on there, then you should be able to connect that to your it's got to be a business Facebook page, and it's obviously got to be a business Instagram profile.
The interesting thing, I mean, obviously we Andrea and I had that discussion with the whole eBay thing that really scared us recently. It properly did. And we thought, we sat down one evening and talked about discussions, and the whole website thing came up and blah, blah, blah. But I sell anything I get my hands on. It doesn't lend itself to a website apart from eBay, right? eBay works for how I do things. Unless I niche down, it doesn't really work.
I don't know, Nick. I don't know. Why wouldn't it? Because it would be Nick and that.
He's on Instagram. You know what I mean? It just doesn't compute.
No, but you can choose what shows. So, for example, there's an option where it will only show things that you tag or you like. So you can pick and choose what out of your website is shown. But the thing is though, you could easily set up like a Nick and Andrea online store, and it's like a curios store. Like the Kirsten's done it. I mean, and I know she's got a lot of new stuff on there. But there's lots of websites that do sell just used curios, and you could have it like that. And like I said, it doesn't have to be everything on your website is displayed to your feed. You can pick and choose what, all it is just another. They even call it a sales channel. So Yeah.
I mean, it would work very much for what Andrea's into now, the mid-century modern stuff and the homewares and that sort of thing, for sure.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, interesting.
It's worth looking at. I mean, I didn't even know it was a thing, and it's just like, because I've had the website, it's like it's no extra work for me. It just makes, gives more eyeballs the chance to see what I've got for sale. So
definitely. Hi Dermot, by the way. And after not having a takeaway for so long, how was the KFC this week?
Yeah, he's referring to the fact that I have not had takeaway in months, like actual takeaway in months. But yesterday I still went for my jab, and it happened to be right next to a KFC.
Oh, really? Okay.
It was an emotional experience. I was so happy. It tasted far too good, and it felt far too good for what it actually is. It was just you forget that you can't do these, because technically I can't have a Mackie D's or a KFC right now because it's an unessential journey, to drive 10 miles in 20 plus minutes.
You can't get it delivered where you are, can you?
No, we don't have well, we do have like a food hub or whatever, but it's only the local takeaways that deliver around here. So because we're slap bang in between, there's nothing. It's just fields in between us and the two big towns, the cities. So,
which may have ended up being a good thing when you think about it.
I you know what? It's actually working. Yeah, it's in the way. It's really good. Yeah, I can imagine.
You can't turn up to open the shop looking like Captain Caveman. All right, you've been told.
Kelly, honestly, that's one of the benefits of the shop. Is it makes me think. Yeah.
When I had employees, I had to be first there and last to leave. Absolutely. Yeah, I was unlocking the door and locking the door. So that would be There's no sloping off early, really, when you're in charge, unless you have that level of trust in an employee. And we struggled with that one because
I've got to say, I don't see myself or Beck being able to. I think like we've both talked about it, and we both reckon, just get the kids involved, and that will be enough. I mean, obviously, that still means that we'd have to close if we went away on holiday or something. But
Oh, the chat's just jumped up. I can't go back to where I was. I'm that far behind. BF and GF gaming. I'd love to do what you guys do. Well, yeah. I mean, reselling is fairly low, easy to get into. All I do is buy secondhand stuff mostly and sell it online. So it's not super hard to get into and give it a go.
Reselling is like a Nintendo game, easy to get into but difficult to master. That used to be the saying back in the day for the old games, wasn't it? Like rare games and things like that.
Yeah, definitely.
Easy to get into but difficult to master.
A question for you here from Andy.
Oh.
Did you manage to productively change the light bulb in the shop?
You know what, Andy? I still haven't changed the light bulb under the stairs. There's too many boxes there now. I've organised the space though, so I can store more stock underneath there. But yeah, I do still need to actually get the bulb. I did measure it's 58 millimeters, I think. Just need to get it.
I assume you mean Spock there. I'm going to go with Spock. Was good for me for a few months, but never get a sale. Past few years, eBay is still the dominant force. Yeah, I've stuck some stuff on Facebook. I was going to go to Spock. I realised I'd rage quit last time and deleted the app. I couldn't be bothered to reinstall it. So I put a load of stuff on Facebook. Zero interest. Yeah, eBay is on fire for us right now. So it's still
eBay, you get what you pay for right now, and I think with eBay, the fees are there, but you get what you pay for. Definitely.
Facebook has a lot more scamming going on. Yeah, we touched on this. The scammers will go where the money is, and as soon as Facebook becomes a viable platform, and a lot of us perhaps put a lot more stuff on there and push the higher value stuff on there, scammers will be 5 minutes behind.
I think the problem is people are so. It's so easy to go for I want to sell for free and I want to buy for free, and then they harm themselves. So, most of the time that people get like harmed on platforms like that is because the sellers are encouraging people to, do things like friends and family rather than actually the seller, there's very few sellers that I've ever seen on Facebook that have ever had an advert which says payment by a PayPal invoice, or or this, or they're always going to say, they're always going to want the fee-free method, and unfortunately, that's going to come at a risk to the buyer if you go along with it. And I would just say to anyone that's buying on there or selling on there, like, you've got to have some protections, and I think people are trying to avoid those right now. Like you said, the sellers don't want to use PayPal protections, because then it suddenly means that there's the risk of chargebacks and the usual things. PayPal want confirmation of delivery, but that's the reality of online selling. You've got to have some framework if you want it to be a trustworthy platform. Otherwise, it won't go anywhere in the end.
Yeah, the fundamental problems of distance selling will never go away. Nobody is ever going to solve the fact that it's trust based, and if one of the two parties is prepared to lie, that's out the window. The whole trust-based thing, have you got it? Is it what I sent you? What was in the package? Nothing.
Yeah.
All of that relies on both of you being honest. And once one party or even both are not being honest, it falls apart, and there's no system that can sort that out. You know what I mean? That's the reality, I think. Hi, Steve. Hi, Nick and Z. Hope you're both doing good. 3 weeks, guys. Until
3 weeks.
Shops, is that?
Yeah, it is 3 weeks until a little bit of normality. Yeah, 12th of April, when
we can sit in a pub garden. Then that's when that happens.
I think yes, 12th of April, you better sit in the pub garden and go to the shops and stuff. I think 29th of March is 6 people in the garden, is it? I think.
I've heard so many things. My brain can't hold any information.
I'm just
Andrea to actually soak in what's going on the news. My brain's just mush.
There's so much, isn't there? Like, I'm just sticking with the 12th for 12th is the important day.
The 12th, yeah,
that's the important day. That's when things kind of open a little bit.
Fat Girl Sewing, welcome. From an employee experience, it sucks having an employer that doesn't want to delegate responsibility. Yeah, and I know I was terrible at that. I even when it was going on, I could see that I just need to chill out and let so and so deal with, racking all of that stock out as they see fit. I shouldn't stand there going, but do you want to do them spine on, or whatever. It would be Yeah, it's not easy. It really isn't. Hi, Rich. God, whatever. Super stinkers. You find them in CEX. Yeah, you find them in most retail outlets eventually.
Yeah.
And they're the ones that end up coming back every week and get to know you by name.
Oh, gosh. Yeah.
CX is coming up a lot here. Super stinkers, yeah. Hi, Derek. What? I once had a woman come into a shop I worked in. The child walked out of the shop by the door, pulled his trousers down, and shot on the floor by the entrance.
Oh, gosh.
The woman grabbed the child, saying nothing. Wow.
Oh my goodness.
That would have been our job to clean up.
Yeah. Expect the unexpected.
You get all sorts. I remember this one time, and this nowhere near this. It wasn't disgusting like that, but this poor old chap was walking past our shop, fell over, didn't put his hands out in time, and smashed his face on the floor. Ooh. So somebody helped him up, and our door was right there. He hit the floor in front of our door. So the woman rightfully brought him in. So he's bleeding on everything.
Oh, gosh.
And then we phoned the ambulance and got some paramedics were sat in the middle of our shop floor tending to this guy.
Oh,
I'm just thinking, there's blood everywhere.
Yeah.
The weirdest
Who's going to be left to mop that up?
Yeah, so I had to clean up all his blood, which was fine. Obviously, we wanted to help the guy, but
if you're squeamish, it's not nice.
Everything happens in a shop. Every aspect of life. Oh, game was lots of smellies. Okay.
Okay.
Let's chat a little bit about your shop and plans for that. I mean, so you're able to open on the 12th?
Yes.
Yep.
12th we can open.
You feeling ready to go?
I am. I think over the past few months I've had a few dips and stuff, and it's been like Beck's been really great because I always go to her about this, and I've had the odd dips where you just feel like, what are we doing? What's the point? Because it's just because we've not been open. It's unfounded stuff, but it's just because we've not been open. But yeah, the closer I'm getting kind of hyped up again, and I'm getting excited again, and need to just keep the stock coming in. Keep like building. I think we've changed quite a few bits so that it looks fresh again, and it's almost like an opportunity to have another reopening because we were open for such a little time. And I know Beck's looking forward to the Saturdays because we used to have a lot of fun. Like, it was nice. The few Saturdays we did, it was very, when you're mucking in together, that because you're both in it together, covering lunch or whatever and just working, and it's just a nice environment.
Exactly. And there's nothing better sharing that buzz of a busy period or that buzz of a really nice sale or something like that. You can kind of give each other that look and go, we got
this is good. This is good. Yeah. And I think that's definitely been something that we're kind of missing and we're looking forward to.
Go easy on yourself because it's impossible not to second guess yourself and feel, what are we doing? And if you hadn't had those thoughts, I'd be worried, to be fair. You know what I mean? Because it's a huge undertaking, and with all the added complications have not made it any easier.
I think it's also, in a way, I think it's been good though to have this disruption because it's helped me like really quickly. We wouldn't have gotten the website up like an up to date and sorted as quickly. I'm sure of it. It would have just kind of lagged along, and it's really helped me focus on stuff like on our eBay store, and it's almost got to the point now where like my eBay store is kind of going to just be the shop's eBay presence, and then the idea will be when Beck gets back onto the eBay thing as well, that's where all of like the cool used retro stuff that we find from the auctions and car boots and whatnot, so it's in effect created like another income stream almost, so which will be quite cool.
Definitely. Trying to find a question or something in the chat. Like the good old days. Nice one. Can you let me know if you've been talking about bulk clothing? No. We haven't.
I can understand why other people have been talking about it because it's profitable.
Yeah, and that was something I didn't see coming, but it makes sense because people couldn't go sourcing, so the buying wholesale clothing suddenly became a big deal, right? And everyone was jumping on it. But
Nick lives to resell.
Oh, interesting. Sue would be lost without Dermot motivating her. Interesting. No shopping for you until you list a box of stuff. Just kidding, but Dermot always helps me so much. Fantastic. See, that's another team going on there. Dermot and Sue keeping each other going.
And you don't both need to be like fully in it. Like, for example, I know that like at the moment Beck is not involved in the business as much as she'd like to be in terms of tasks and stuff. But that doesn't really mean that she's not actually an integral part because of the support you get, because you do both need to, like I said earlier, you've got to have your overall goal has to be aligned when you're doing something like this, whether it's just an eBay store, whether it's selling a market or anything, if any kind of business that because business takes a lot from you, and even if only one person out of a couple is doing a business, it takes so much from that one person. It's gonna have some form of effect on the other person in a partnership. I think that's the way to look at it.
Absolutely. So, if you don't both believe in what you're trying to achieve or have the same goals, it will be and is stress. I can speak from personal experience, because the reason we came out of retail was Andrea fell out of love with it. And it was like, okay, we're going to have to get out, because unless I struggle on my own, I didn't want Andrea getting stressed and sick because she needed to get out. So we had to go back to what we knew, which was online, and it worked out fine.
And something that also could be relatable to people is, when you sometimes hear the story of like the other half can't stand how much stock is in the house, or whereas because one person might be invested in what they're doing and they're building their online business and they're getting inventory, but the other person in the relationship doesn't see inventory, they just see a pile of tat, as it were. And I think that's the thing whereas when both of you understand the kind of aim of it, then it doesn't solve the problem. I mean, like, we're a great example of that. Both Beck and I understand the value of inventory, but we got to the point where we didn't want, neither of us wanted it in the house anymore. So it worked out, but it helps.
Yeah, for sure. Rod says, actually, there, do not solely rely these days on eBay. Look at other options, and as soon as they're up and running, dump eBay. I'm not sure I could agree with that. I don't think eBay is going anywhere. There's been a lot of talk from our channel, of course, as well, talking about exactly that, not having all your eggs in one basket and feeling insecure being on eBay. But there's been talk that eBay is doomed. It's such an old monster. It's not adapting. And there is an element of that. But remember, eBay has such a slice of the pie. It's phenomenal. eBay and Amazon, name someone else who's even vaguely competing. There isn't any. No. So eBay are not going anywhere, I don't think. And I'm not dumping eBay unless they dump me. We're staying, good friends, hopefully.
You'd be shooting yourself in the foot. I mean, as annoying as it can be, and and it can be really frustrating. Like I was speaking to Shazad earlier, and the way they treat him, it's some of the stuff is. I mean, I can't say anything just in case, because I don't know if it's my place to, but they've made decisions like that have significantly affected him, which you would think are bonkers, like actually bonkers, because they're also affecting their sales as well, not just his. But they will make these decisions. But even despite all of that, you'd be shooting yourself in the foot if you didn't, take part in it.
Yeah, exactly. You might be getting a message from Kirsten about linking.
Oh yeah, sure, of course. Yeah, of course. Yeah, no worries.
Get a room, you two. What? Oh, Dermot and Sue, not us. What? Shopify is very good for the tools it affords you. Great links to social media, but most of all, they teach you everything from the very ground up. Okay. I saw a comment and it vanished before I got to click on it. I think Dave was saying about is it Laura Stubbs who's selling directly through Instagram, like live sales, I think.
Yeah.
That route might be more suited to us, I think. I was watching Tim over the years do his weekly sale on his YouTube channel, and it's phenomenal. He sells pretty much everything he shows once a week on YouTube.
So, it's another option, isn't it? I mean, there's that sounds amazing. Yeah, I mean, I've watched that as well. That's something that would appeal to myself as well. But
I mean, again,
I'd still have
you would need to either be niched down and have a following that's going to be there, that's into, in your case, action figures or that sort of merchandise. There's a whole raft of stuff that I sell that again wouldn't work, in a kind of general scenario like that. And I'm not niched down, so I don't know how that would work, but I do like the thought of that. Wow, how are we doing for time? I have no clue. Been just over an hour.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll try and get to the end of the chat and we'll think about wrapping up. How are you doing for time? You all right for a little bit more?
I'm good. Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, cool.
Quick, hasn't it?
We used to say that every week.
Yeah.
Oh, was that now?
Yeah, it's now already. Yeah.
Oh. Okay. Oh, I think I'm at the bottom. Wow, that was quick. Kirsten saying about Misty. I don't know who Misty is. She does YouTube sales. Wouldn't work for me as I don't have enough subs. Yeah, it's a thought, isn't it? I think it. I would work again more for Andrea going out picking up collectibles and vintage stuff. It might work for me if I get back into picking up a lot of media and gaming and stuff like that, but I don't know.
The Lego stuff as well.
Yeah.
Lego would obviously sell. It's just another alternative, isn't it? I think, again, taking it back, it's another example of how things have shifted. That we have, we're lucky that there isn't just eBay. There are lots of different alternatives. And I think right now it makes sense to, like you said, especially like, with the experiences that people are having at the moment with like random like freezes on accounts, etc. It just makes sense to, because you're always going to be playing in someone's playground. Like even when you think you're free, you're not. I mean, I distinctly remember I watched a guy called Resell Rabbit as well, and he has these massive warehouses where he buys like pallets of like old, like out of season stock from all like the big shops and closing down stores and things like that. So, and he literally has these big sales every couple weeks or couple months where people come to his warehouse and shop. So technically he's a complete all-in-one package. He's an own enclosed business. But even he came a cropper when one of his card processing companies decided to suddenly hold all his money that he'd taken, until he provided more info. So even then there's always going to be someone that you're at the kind of mercy of. So it makes sense to have that risk.
Contingency plans.
Yeah. Because in each one of your income streams, there's going to be a risk. So it's just good to have lots of income streams. So if one of the risks happens in one of them, at least you've still got another option. So, for example, like Tim over the years, if God forbid, if he has a bad week on eBay, he knows he's still got that auction perhaps to rely on.
It's funny you mentioned about credit card providers. I remember a few times in the shop, you'd have like a power cut or your phone line would go. And even when we had the shop, most of our sales were on card. Yeah. And it's like on a Saturday, credit card machine goes down, and we would do as much as we'd do the whole week on a Saturday.
Yeah.
And we relied on that for the lion's share of our income.
We noticed that almost instantly, actually, even though we quickly have seen how Saturday is such a huge day. Yeah.
Huge day. Kids and the families are out, and it's like, whoa, huge for what we did, and similarly it will be for you. So we used to have the backup of the old manual swiper, with the little vouchers and the thing, which you must remember from your Harrods days.
So amazing.
The amount of times that saved us, it was a pain because then you'd have to bank all of these slips and go up to Barclays or whatever with this big wad of stuff, and it was a pain in the neck. But that meant we still had that couple of grand in sales that we wouldn't have had if we didn't have a backup. And that taught me a lot of lessons, I think, in that moment. But I've been very complacent of recent, and that was, I'm almost thankful for the crap that happened last week, in a way, for just waking me up a bit to pushing opening my Etsy store. Andrea has one, but we want to have two. I still haven't opened it, and I'm actually putting stuff on Facebook.
It's going though, hasn't it? Like you said, sometimes when bad things happen, like there's always a silver lining, isn't there?
Yeah, definitely. And having YouTube, that recently with bad things happening, it means I get a good video, if nothing else, and that's been amazing for the channel.
Silver lining, 100%.
Will YouTube replace eBay for selling items? I think it's possible. I mean, I remember Andrea used to buy some really nice vintage stuff from a person who would once a week have a Facebook auction and have a picture of it, and then the auction would just run below it. People would put their amounts in, and they'd sell everything every week, and it was like
crazy.
So all you need is a dedicated following, and you can, if you've got stuff that people are interested in buying, there's an audience. So
and don't forget YouTube. If you actually look at YouTube in like a more if you just look at it, generally, most of the content on YouTube, so much of it, like a huge amount of it, is selling you stuff. like there's so much of it where it's just selling things to you, whether it's like paid promotions, whether it's someone reviewing something, whether it's someone, it's just the perfect. It's the perfect tool for it. It is literally the perfect tool for it. Like it's amazing, because the way you can communicate in video it's unsurpassed, like you compared to all the other methods. I mean, you can really get like the feeling across. Definitely.
And what it does, I mean, people, I've said this so many times, but people buy from people. People like to buy. They like to know, I'm buying this figure from Zaheer, and they will pay more for that service in some cases. You know what I mean? Because it's coming from you, or they will drive 50 miles to come to your shop because you're there. That will happen. I'm sure it has already, hasn't it?
But
powerful. Really.
It is. But I also feel like in the past, I think like it wasn't seen as a necessity. I would say like going forward, it's not even about having it's not even like an option. I would say like social media of some kind is no longer an option. I think like it's just to get yourself out there amongst all the competition. To have like a unique selling point, you kind of have to be on some kind of social media. Like you obviously have to pick your poison, choose what you want to focus on, but
Tea Cake said you're showing how big. I'm assuming that's Shopify you mean there.
Yeah. Oh wow,
42.3 billion.
That's huge.
That's insane.
Well, I mean, so many businesses are built on it. I mean,
that's amazing. Isn't it?
So many businesses are built on it. So
Nick used to buy board games, still do. So he used to buy turntables and speakers. What's the next big thing?
you buy that's a great comment in a way, because it's not what either of us just used to buy.
Well, are you going to buy that if you go to the boot sale when they open and you see a vintage hi-fi? Are you buying it?
Yeah, because it's a vintage. If I like it, I mean, I'll buy it. But it's easy to. I think we will like to kind of. It's easy to do that, to just say, okay, so and so is into this, or so and so is into that. But there's again, it's about nuance. Like it's not just one thing. And I'm not saying that because I'm like, oh, I buy more than hi-fi. I don't mind being known as someone that just buys hi-fi or something. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying that to say that would be misleading, and to say that there's a next big thing, I would say is also a bit, because there's never a next big thing in this line of work. You've got to just adapt to what's there, and and you can look, you can make the next big thing, that you can find what the next big thing is.
Definitely. If people wanted to find your online shop, I didn't put a link below, but I can after.
Onlycoolstuff.co.uk. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, but onlycoolstuff.co.uk, and that'll take you there.
I'll find a link. So if you're watching this after, there should be one below.
You can Google it as well, Only Cool Stuff, and it should come up with it. And I'm such a pro that the main photo of the shop that comes up, Nick, right, is one I took at night, so you can barely see. I don't know how I messed it up. So the main photo that comes up on Google is just like at night, this dark, dingy looking shop that
has it got all the scaffolding around it as well?
Yeah, it's just messed up. And then it's like our first attempts at window display that I now look at and cringe, like, because I thought when we first did the window, both Beck and I were like, isn't this good? And we started looking at it, and it was like, and people commented as well. This is the amazing thing about YouTube. People were like, oh yeah, you're not using a lot of the space. And we started to notice our window display was just terrible. It was just awful. And then
there's another hat. You are the chief merchandiser for the store.
Yeah, exactly.
Howard had a whole team of people to do that.
Highly paid people to merchandise. And then there used to be a special team that did just the windows as well.
Yeah, and at Christmas they would spend a fortune, wouldn't they?
The windows were bonkers. Yeah.
Andrea is here, but because I said we were just going to do it back to the Tat Chat thing, we thought we'd do it kind of old school. So Andrea left me to it today, but she's fine. Okay, I know I've missed a load of chat. It's been jumping around all over the place.
Oh yeah, Look.
Oh, a fan of Resale Rabbit. I need to check him out.
Yeah.
I have watched the odd video that's been recommended, but I don't follow him that much.
He's pretty impressive what he does. It's a lot of scale. And it's enjoyable as well. It's one of those things. It's kind of enjoyable. And Kenneth Christensen's making a good point. TikTok is often mistaken for only being for teens, and that's the thing. Like social media, there's so many things to it, but TikTok is a humongous thing to get going as well. I think Kenneth's got a good point. I need to kind of do that.
That's not a good first impression if that's the impression you've got of eBuyGum's Facebook. Yeah, that's not ideal. I mean, I had a chat with the guy. I assume he's the MD. I can't remember his name now. Darren. He phoned me up, had quite a chat about it, and I gave him a very honest opinion on what I thought currently. I still wish them all the best, but it's such a task to try and stand up to eBay and say we can do that better, or at least give another option. I still want to find someone who sold something on there. Still not happening. Okay, right. I'm going to get to the end of the chat.
Yep.
Am I there? Maybe.
Getting there.
Yeah, I think we're there.
If you don't advertise on TV, right at the bottom, I'm at.
Problem with TikTok, I've not even looked at TikTok once.
But apparently it's humongous. It's huge. Like it's such a important thing to do. And yeah, exactly. It's like, I'm just discovering, Instagram. Give me a break.
Yeah, I forget Instagram's there. I actually put something on there today, but that we were going to do this chat, but I forget it from like 1 week to the next.
When you look at people, like for example, when I'm looking at shops that I'm aspiring to, their game is hot on it. Like every day they've got cool little posts to put up, little things to share. Like you can tell they've actually got a plan. Like I want to get to the point where I literally have 30 pieces of Instagram ready, like in the bag, as it were, so that I know that my next 30 days is, ready. And I think you have to be that level of organized when you're taking some control of your own marketing, which again is what eBay does for you. And I think that's amazing.
I think you're right. I think having some sort of a vision of where you're trying to get to and steps in between. I remember when we had the shop, we wouldn't think massively far ahead, but I'd have kind of little goals, thinking we really need to change this or we really need to push that, and then just plan out perhaps a month of steps to get there. I'm not very good at long-term plans. I think rightfully so in business, because you end up taking another turn, as we said earlier anyway. Yeah.
You just don't know, do you?
Short-term goals, definitely.
Yeah.
Okay. I think we'll wrap it up. Thank you so much, Chat, for providing all the questions, and thanks Zaheer for joining me again.
No, it's always been lots of fun.
Yeah. So I've linked Zaheer's YouTube. What sort of stuff are you putting out on your channel these days for people that
the Friday chat? Beck and I normally chat on a Friday evening about all kinds of stuff, but we're trying to make it about our week in reselling, but it tends to wander, shall we say, and hopefully when the shop reopens, I'll be probably doing like daily videos of how the shop is and how the day's been. I was doing it daily, but then I did kind of tail off. But we'll get back to it.
Daily content is tough. No matter what anyone says, it's not easy.
It's tough, yeah.
So it was a pleasure, Zaheer. Thank you, and again, thanks to everyone in the chat. I'll be back live on Sunday with Andrea, and there should be a vlog out tomorrow because I was filming stuff today. So yeah, excellent. Right, take care everyone. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you soon.
Bye.
Ta-ra.